These Joy-Cons will never drift, but it's also a GameCube controller. Let's talk about it. Today we're looking at the NYXI Wizard. This is basically a GameCube-style controller. However, they can also be used as Joy-Cons, so they can dock directly into the Switch. But what interested me the most was the Hall Effect joystick. The Hall Effect joystick actually uses magnets and detects a change in voltage when you move the analog stick around. So unlike Joy-Cons, they shouldn't develop drift since there's nothing rubbing against each other. It features 4 clicky shoulder buttons. The A, B, X, Y buttons also light up, and there are 2 extra buttons on the back, sort of where you hold the controller. I'll show that in a little bit too. I'm mostly going to be focusing this review with games like Super Smash Bros. In mind. 1, because I play the game competitively, and 2, that's who they seem to be making this for. And for full transparency, they did send me this controller for free. However, they did not pay me in any way, and this review is completely my own. And I do have a couple issues with it, which I will talk about. So let's open it up and see what's inside. So the box comes with the controller itself, the manual for the turbo, and the programmable buttons on the back. It also comes with a USB Type-C cable. Unfortunately, there are 2 charging ports because each one has to be charged individually. I would have liked the splitter, but we only get the 1 cable. And it also comes with 2 of the customizable rings. So if you don't like the octagon, all you need to do is twist it and then pull it off. And when you do that, you can then put this back on. I found that it was the easiest to do it like this. And then you put the other ring on top of it, click it into place, and then twist it, and it should be locked in. And just like that, you can switch them out. However, I like the octagon personally, so I'm going to leave it with that. And there you go. And you can also do that with the C-Stick as well. I really like the joysticks, especially since they won't ever drift. And the clicky buttons on top are very satisfying to press. And you can also press them very quickly, and they don't have to travel as far, unlike on a regular GameCube controller, where you have to press it all the way in. And it's kind of hard to sort of just like slide over it, unlike with these, where you can just kind of do that. So for example, if you're playing Super Smash Bros. And you have this set to jump, you can do a short hop really easy since you can just kind of slide off it just like that. So I love those aspects of the controller, but what I do not like are the A, B, X, Y buttons. As you can kind of see, they are not as raised as on a regular GameCube controller. So when you press it, it almost feels, I don't want to say mushy, but it's not like a click like on a GameCube controller. I'll let you listen to the difference. So this is the NYXI controller, and this is a GameCube controller. So it's really just not satisfying to press these buttons. And honestly, that's my only complaint about the controller so far, other than the fact that they didn't have a USB splitter for charging. And you can also very easily remove it just like this. Just press the buttons and slide them off. And you've got basically your Joy-Con. So if you want to hold them separately, you can. And of course, they snap right into the Switch. My only issue with that is they were a little loose in the Switch. You definitely can jiggle them around a little bit while they're plugged into the Switch, which I don't love, but it wasn't too distracting. In terms of the weight, it's a little bit heavier than a standard GameCube controller, but most of the weight comes from the piece of the plastic that connects them together. The color is very similar to the original GameCube purple, and the plastic feels nearly identical, much more so than the Power A wireless controller. The dimensions are pretty similar as well. If you take out the center divider, they're nearly identical. So in your hands, it feels the same, except it's just slightly farther apart. So let's try it out in a game of Smash and see how it feels. So we're going to play a game of Elite Smash, and I'll give you sort of my input on how I feel the controller is. I mean, I like the analog sticks, I like the shoulder buttons. I just don't love the X, Y, A, B buttons. Like, especially the Y and the A, it just doesn't feel right. So I'm going to kind of just give my thoughts while I play this game and see if I run into any issues. Feels okay. Ooh, wow, okay. I can do everything I want. Like, I don't think I'm having any issues. So really, not too many complaints. I just feel that this A button just doesn't really do it for me. Now, the programmable buttons won't really be allowed in a tournament if you have it set to more than one thing. Like, you could set it to one button press, but you can't set it to, like, have a macro. But I would like to try a macro with it just to see how it goes. What I want to try and do is see if it can get, like, a long combo, if I can, like, get it while just pressing a button and see if it works. Okay, now we'll stop. So it just recorded these inputs. So let's see if I press them at the same time, if it'll replay that combo I just did. Almost. It kind of was a little off, probably because it was just like slightly off when I pressed it. But honestly, pretty cool. Now, let's see if we can get it to do a little bit more complicated of a combo. So let's see if we can get it to do a little bit of the Dare Ride combo. I mean, I think that was pretty cool. So overall, I really like this controller. I think it's a really cool concept, but my biggest problem is just with the ABXY buttons. If they were a little more clicky or pressy, I would definitely think this is like the ultimate controller, but some people might not have an issue with it. From the reviews I saw, no one was really talking about it, so it might not be an issue for everyone, but I'm really excited to use these more because it's going to be nice to be able to kind of play on the go a little bit more, because whenever I sort of want to play on the go, I end up just using like a Pro controller disconnected to the Switch. And if you're doing games that are a little bit less fast-paced than a game like Smash Bros, like if you were playing Animal Crossing and you just want something reliable that isn't going to drift in time, then this could be the controller for you. Or if you want to be able to play on the go in handheld mode with the GameCube style controllers, this is your only option to do that. I'm surprised Nintendo has not made something like this. But overall, it's a really cool controller, and I'm excited to see what NYXI puts out next. If you want to purchase your own, there's a link to it in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like these in the future. I'll see you next time. Peace.